Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our playthrough of Arkham Horror, the living card game and Night of the Zealot. Now this episode is going to be a bit strange in that we're halfway through a playthrough, but I'm going to have to do something like slightly introductory. Just think of it as a sort of interlude. We've got to essentially level up our characters with the experience they got, and I've also just got to take you through what is our second scenario out of 3. Now the second scenario is called the Midnight Masks, and there are a few changes. So first of all, let's have a look at what the Chaos Bag tokens now mean, because they change round. So here we are with the Midnight Masks. We're still on easy standard, and now the skull tokens are -X again, but here X is the highest number of doom on a cultist enemy in play, and you'll see what that means in a minute. The cultist token is -2, place 1 doom on the nearest cultist enemy, and the broken tablet is -3, and if you fail your test, place 1 of your clues on your location. You don't lose the clue, it doesn't disappear, it doesn't go back into the supply, but you will have to do a test to pick it up again from your location. So again, that's a bit of a time waste. It's trying to make you lose time, and time is very important in this scenario. So that is what the chaos icons mean this particular scenario. So put that back. The agenda, there are 2 agendas, that's all, there's not 3 as in The Gathering. So agenda 1A is Predator or Prey. Lita seems convinced of a conspiracy within the city of Arkham. She believes that a secret cult serves the ghouls that live in the crypts beneath the city, and that several of the cult's prominent members are scattered throughout Arkham. As you begin searching for them, you can't shake the feeling that you too are being hunted. And there's a little action symbol here, and it's got resign. You don't want to risk taking too long, so you head to safety with the information you've gathered. So any time during the game, this particular scenario, you can say, you know what, I found enough cultists, that's all I'm going to find, I'm not going to find any more, let's resign now and we will move on. So that will be dealt with once you do choose to resign, and in the next scenario it will basically ask you how many cultists that you unmasked. It's got 6 doom, but as I said, there is a second agenda where it's got time is running short. So this could serve, you know, as a bit of a wake-up call to say, whoa, better hurry up. So hopefully that'll have a resign on it as well. So Predator or Prey is our first agenda. We'll put that back. There is only a single act card this time, which is Uncovering the Conspiracy. You have 1 night to find the members of this cult and unveil their plan. The more members of the cult you can find and interrogate before midnight, the better. As an action, investigators spend 2 clues per investigator as a group, so that's 4. Draw the top card of the cultist deck. I'll show you the cultist deck in a second. And the objective is to find as many unique cultist enemies as you can and add them to the victory display. If there are 6 unique cultist enemies in the victory display, advance. Note, not all 6 of them are in the cultist deck. But remember, we can resign at any time. So say we find 4 and just think, you know what, let's cut our losses and move on. Then we can do that. I mentioned 4 because I think that's what we're going to try and go for. Time is very precious in this scenario and we're going to have to get a move on. So 4 is probably the bare minimum. Yeah. So we'll see how we're doing. If we can get 6, fantastic. If we can get 5, fantastic. But 4, I think, is the minimum that we've got to go for. So we'll keep that in mind. Let's put this back. Now, it mentioned the cultist deck. And the cultist deck is over here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what it means by unique cultist. They have got a little asterisk and a name. So very similar to allies in the investigator deck that have got an asterisk and a name, like Dr. Millen Christopher, Leo DeLuca. These are unique cultists and they all spawn in different places. So this is why we're going to have to mix them up, and when we spend 4 clues to find out where one is, then we don't know where in the locations it's going to be until we actually turn over the card, and then we've got to hope that we're somewhere near and we can get there to interrogate them. Now, as far as interrogation goes, as you can see, they've got abilities up here, the usual abilities of, say, an enemy. So Peter Warren, he's got 2 combat, 3 health and 3 agility if you want to evade him. That means you can interrogate him and kill him, and that counts. He will go to the victory display. But there are also things like, as an action, you can spend 2 clues to parley. So you can basically, you can talk him out of being a cultist. So it's up to you what you do. Got victory points and they do damage. The main reason they've got the abilities up here is, as you can imagine, if you don't flush them out in the Midnight Masks, there's a good chance they're going to come back in scenario 3 and not be as nice. And they're not very nice now. So we've got a chance to get these sort of on our side. If at least not on our side, we can kill them early and we don't have to deal with them in the next scenario. So what we'll do is we'll give these a quick shuffle, all 5 of them, and there we go. Let's mix them up. As mentioned, we need 6, but as the act card said, there is another one that isn't in here. So I think very similar to Miss Chantler, it'll sort of turn up either as, probably in the main deck of encounter cards, I would imagine it'll turn up. So these are the 5 that we actually, that actually make up the cult deck. So we'll put this over here. I've still got Miss Chantler out, just in case. I don't think, because we didn't burn the house down, I don't think we will run into her, but just in case. The Ghoul Priest has been defeated, so he will not turn up. Any card or anything that mentions him, we just ignore because he's dead, which is good news. So, having done the cultist deck, what else is it? The locations. We have a set of locations here, and I will go through them. Let's have a closer look. They're quite difficult to see, so I'll move the camera in and we can have a bit better look. So here we are, having a look at the streets of Arkham. Let's go through. May as well start up here. This is North Side. There's a lot of locations that any of you that played Arkham Horror will recognise. So here's North Side. That's normally the area with the train station and everything in it. And then we've got Downtown, the Bank of Arkham, that sort of thing. Then we've got East Town. I think that's got Hibbs Roadhouse, things like that in it normally. Miskatonic University, so which has got the university in it and the library, that sort of thing. We have Rivertown, which has the graveyard, and the graveyard's actually here. So we do have a separate graveyard location. We've got Roland's house because we didn't burn it down. We have got Southside, that's the locations with like the church in, that sort of thing. And we've got St Mary's Hospital over here. So a bit of a mix of districts, neighbourhoods and actual locations. Anybody who has played Arkham Horror, the board game. Now, these are very interesting because the way they're set up and the way they connect to each other, as you can see, I've used some white cards, so it makes it very easy. You'll be able to tell where the investigators can go from each particular location, or at least I hope you will. It does look pretty clear, so I think we'll be fine. What these do is they will give the opportunity for some more variety and flexibility going forwards. Now, the vast majority of these have only got a single location card, but there are two, Southside and Downtown, that have actually got two cards, and we're going to have to pick one of each shortly. But going forwards, I can imagine quite a lot of the scenarios will be set in Arkham, and not only will we see extra locations, I have a feeling that these locations that we've started with in the core set will also get extra cards, so that when you flip them over you will get something different on the reverse side. So that's really good news for variety and flexibility going forwards. So it seems a very good idea to me, so I was very pleased with that. It's future-proofing the actual game a bit, so even if you've played the core set before and you've played this particular scenario, in future you won't exactly know what's going to be on the flip of the card, because hopefully they will do some more cards for each location, as well as extra locations, because by no means have they used every location that is on the Arkham Horror board, for example. Right, back to Southside and Downtown. We have got to do a shuffle of two cards. Now, I'm not watching, but obviously I can feel in my hands which one I'm moving from one to the other. Oh, I'll tell you what we'll do. That's what we'll do. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them all together, and I'm going to use some of Wendy's deck as well. And then we're just going to have one massive big shuffle. I'm not watching. And then we'll do a cut. And then the first ones that we come to, well, there we go. So that's the Downtown. And we'll keep going till we get the first Southside, and there's the first Southside. Well, that seemed a good way to do it. That's the way to do it. Go. OCD kicking in. Right. So these two that we didn't use, we'll put those back in the box, and we'll give Wendy her cards back. Okay, so we've picked our cards for Southside and Downtown. Another thing we've got to do, because we're playing with two investigators, is we've got to place a cultist on Southside. This is not a unique cultist, it's just an acolyte. So it's not the same as those guys over there, and it's not the same as the other hidden unique cultist wherever it is. This is just your bog standard cultist. It's got 3 combat, it's only got 1 health, and it's 2 agility to evade. Humanoid cultist, spawn any empty location, so you can't have 2 acolytes on the same location, for example. It's got to be an empty location when you spawn it. Forced, after acolyte enters play, place 1 doom on it. It was only a small sacrifice. So this guy goes to Southside. The campaign guide tells us to put it there. So there it is, and it's got a doom on it. This doom here counts towards the agenda doom. So the agenda doom is now 1 because we've had to put this guy in play. As I mentioned, if we were only playing with a single investigator, then we wouldn't have any acolytes. We'd start with none. But because we're playing with 2 investigators, we've got 2. Talking of our 2 investigators, they're both at Roland's house. That is why they are there. Okay. That is the location. What I'm going to do now is we'll pull out and we'll have a look how our investigators spent their hard-earned experience from the previous scenario. And welcome back. But just before we do that, just a couple of error corrections from last turn. I meant to do it at the beginning, but forgot. But I'll do it now. Yes, some eagle-eyed viewers did notice a couple of cock-ups I made. Now, they didn't make any difference to the result, thankfully, but I may as well go through them. The first one, the biggest one, is the one I actually checked the rules for, which is when I took Dig Deep and I actually put it into Wendy's in play area. Couldn't do that. When I read the rules and it said you can use a card from your hand, what it meant was commit a card towards a test, not to actually put it into your player area. You do need to do that in the investigation phase because it takes an action. Committing a card to a test, you know, so you can discard it, that is fine. So what she would have done is she would have committed Dig Deep and she would have got the +1 willpower that she was after. So essentially she'd have discarded it straight away and she wouldn't have had to spend 3 resources. The other thing that I got wrong was the second mythos phase. When I put 1 doom onto the agenda, it should have been 2 because I forgot about the ghoul priest, and the ghoul priest was in the hallway. So it was 1 extra doom for each ghoul that was in the hallway or in the parlour. So I should have put an extra doom on and it should have been 4 doom. So thanks to everybody that pointed that out. But as I say, made no difference because we just shot the ghoul in the face. Well, we didn't shoot it either, did we? We just macheted it to bits. So didn't make any difference. But let's find out the proper way to play. And that's the way I should have played. Back to spending experience points. So first of all, we will go with Roland. Now he had 7 experience points and have spent 6. Just to remind myself, I've got a D6 with a single 1 on it, so I know that he's still got 1 experience. What did he buy? Well, you get the opportunity to swap cards out. So we're getting rid of Mind Over Matter. It's not a bad card, but it's really a Daisy Walker card. It's not much cop for Roland, unfortunately. So we're going to discard that. And what we're going to take in its stead is extra ammunition. So what happened last time when the 45 ran out of ammo? If we draw this card, we can reload it. So that's what we want this for. So it's an event, 1 intellect, supply, place 3 ammo tokens on a firearm asset controlled by an investigator at your location. So not only is it ammo for Roland, if Wendy was there, he could place it on a weapon of Wendy's as well. I've never met a beast that could outsmart a bullet. Damn right. So he's taking extra ammunition. We'll put that with his deck. Next one is, we're going to get rid of Old Book of Law. It's just another Daisy. It's a Daisy asset. It's not a Roland asset. So let's get rid of it and get something that's more useful to him. And what is more useful to him is an Elder Sign Amulet. This costs 3. The extra ammunition costs 1. So he's up to 4 experience that he's spent. It's an asset. He gets a willpower icon and a wildcard icon. It's an item relic. This has been in my family for generations. Take care of it and it will take care of you. Now what's amazing about this and why it's brilliant for Roland is it gives you a 4 sanity sink. So if you start losing sanity, you can put it onto your Elder Sign Amulet. He's only got 5 sanity. This is immense for him. Puts it in his sort of accessory slot. He can only have 1 at a time, but if this comes out, he's equipping it, man, because he needs that buffer on his sanity. It was a bit of a decision between this or the shotgun. There is a shotgun that cost 4. The shotgun, it's got 2 ammo, I think, but it's a beast of a weapon, an absolute beast of a weapon. But what I'm hoping is we get enough experience in this scenario to buy shotgun before the 3rd scenario. I really do think he's going to need this. So that's what I've bought, and that's what we've discarded. So he had 3, is it 3? Yes, he had 3 experience left. So I decided to spend 2 of them. And what we've done is we've upgraded Beat Cop. So this was the original Beat Cop. As you can see, it got no white pips. So it cost 4, it was an asset. combat icon, ally police, we got +1 combat, and as a free action we could discard the beat cop as we did in order to deal 1 damage to an enemy at our location. And you can see there was 2 health and 2 sanity on it. Upgraded beat cop still costs 4. You get, however, an extra agility icon as well as the combat icon. Still ally, still police. We still get +1 to our combat, but as a free action we can exhaust beat cop and deal 1 damage. Yeah, so we do not have to discard. If we exhaust it for the remainder of the round, then we will deal 1 damage. So that is pretty cool. So instead of having to discard it, we can just exhaust it. And he's slightly tougher. So he's got 3 health and 2 sanity. So O'Malley has had an upgrade. We'll pretend that he didn't die in the house. He sort of got knocked out. He got himself knocked out trying to like save them both, and they've left him on the couch. Yep. So and when he wakes up, he's going to feel a bit tougher, and he'll know more about the mythos, and he's a bit more into it. So he's a bit more experienced, and he'll be a little bit more help. So he will go into Roland's deck, and these 3 we can get rid of. Put them over there for the time being. Oh, another thing I've done is I've just gone to dice for recording what health and sanity we're on. It'll just save a bit of room. We'll use the space for the other tokens like the resource tokens and the clue tokens. Wendy. Right, what did she spend her 6 experience on? Well, she spent all 6. And the first thing she got rid of was Switchblade. After all, she's got the .41 Derringer, she's got knife, 2 knives, so Switchblade, let's get rid. So she's going to get rid of that, and she's going to spend 3 of her experience points on Will to Survive. So this costs 4 to play. Say combat icon, a wildcard icon, which is always useful. Will to Survive, Spirit. Fast. Play only during your turn. Until the end of your turn, do not reveal chaos tokens for any skill tests that you perform. So this is a freebie. Yeah. For the if you play this as your first action, the rest of your actions you can do tests and not even have to pull a chaos card, that chaos token. So it basically, your next 2 actions are like free. Yeah, the auto, not free, the auto wins in effect. So that's brilliant. So because you're not even pulling a chaos token, there's no chance to get an auto fail. None. So this is a good one if you keep it till the right time to play it. If you've got Leo DeLuca, you could have 3 actions where you don't have to pull a chaos token. So this is immense. So she's going to take that, get rid of Switchblade. Next up, we're going to upgrade Leo. So similar to upgrading Beat Cop, we're upgrading Leo DeLuca. So there's the original. What's the difference? Well, the new one only costs 1, which is great. So we're up to 4 experience spent. Only costs 5, doesn't cost 6, so he's a little bit cheaper. He's still got the intellect icon, still an ally, still a criminal. You may take an additional action during your turn, which is exactly the same. He was still born in Mississippi, but Louisiana still sounded better. And he's exactly the same on the health and the sanity. So that is the only difference. He's just a little bit cheaper. But if we get a chance to get him out, that extra action is just immense. So that's what we're going to do there. And we'll get rid of the old Leo. And then finally, we're going to do another straight swap for an upgraded card. We're going to take the old Lucky and replace it with the new Lucky. Costs 2, so final 2 experience, so she's spent up. Still costs 1, still an event. Lucky, Fortune. So what's the difference? So it's still fast. We'd still play when we'd fail a skill test. We'll get +2 to your skill value for that test here. But on the new one, you get +2 to your skill value for that test, and you draw another card. So you get another card off this one. This one, you discarded it, it was just gone. This one, you discard it, you will get to draw another card immediately. So much better. So we'll take this. And lucky it is an immense card anyway. So let's get rid of these, because we don't need them anymore. So here we are. So these are the decks that we've got. Still got 33 each. And let's give them a good old shuffle. Let's create a quantum superposition. And let's do a cut. And that is Roland's deck. Shall do the same for Wendy. One good thing about sandwich sleeves is it does make it easier to shuffle. Even for a crap shuffler like me, you can really mix them up. So there we go, and that is Wendy's deck. We have a new encounter deck. Told us which symbols to take, so I've took them all out. I have shuffled it, but I'll shuffle it again. So there we go. That is our new encounter deck. The chaos bag didn't change, stayed exactly the same. I do believe it changes for the final scenario, but for this scenario it's exactly the same. It's at standard difficulty like last time. And I think that is it. We are ready to go, but not this episode. As I say, just a little interlude. But you know where everyone is. We're all ready to go. Start of next episode, I'll go through the flavour text in the campaign log. You've already heard the agenda and the act, so we will be able to get straight into it. So, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for all the subscriptions, for all the likes, for all the views, and for all the help and support. Again, if, when I was going through something there, I came out with some cobblers that was rubbish, please feel free to put that in the comments below, and then when I start the next episode, I will correct myself. But I think I was alright. I think I got most of it. I think we're alright there. But I pretty much think I've done it right at the end of every episode, and then I'm proved wrong. However, as I say, if you've noticed anything, please let me know. Right, so that is it for episode 7, the interlude. And next we will, which will be, what is it? Episode 7? No, this is episode 7. Episode 8, we will get into the Midnight Masks proper. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.